What's going on, YouTube world and YouTube tribe? Welcome back to LilBigMan Gaming, bringing you not a game but a review for Scream 2022 or Scream 5, wherever you prefer to call it. Yeah, man, it's a lot I want to say, but it's a lot I can't spoil. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to say this, but we're gonna get directly into it. It says for the synopsis, I like to give y'all a synopsis. 25 years later, or I think it said 25 years later, after a streak of brutal murders shocked the quiet town of Woodsboro, California, a new killer dons the ghost-face mask and begins targeting a group of teenagers to resurrect secrets from the town's deadly past. Now, what the synopsis don't tell you that yes, this is I think what this was considered like almost a reboot of the franchise again, because like how Scream 4 was supposed to be the reboot of the franchise, this is another kind of rebooted of the franchise, but it does honor the past movies, because you find out in the movie that this is 11 years later after the Scream 4. So the Scream 4 does happen. They don't. It's not like they are ignoring Scream 4. This is 25 years after the first movie, 11 years later after Scream 4. So there's Scream 4, and then 11 years later, it will be Scream 5 or just Scream. But yeah, we got the usual. You seen the trailers. We got the usual motif of the girl at the beginning who gets called by Ghostface, and it's unique, it's meta and on the nose, because it's funny, like in that scene they even mention because I don't want to get too much into it, but they mention the actual how this is similar to the first scene. Because if you get where I'm going, that somebody didn't know like a lot about the not only the stab movies but the actual events that happened in Woodsboro. So the killer is bringing up like the similarities, and that's when it clicks. Like, oh crap. This is not somebody messing with me. This is like, and as in like just pulling a prank. This is really happening, because he's trying to hint to the fact that you're being stalked, because you're in this situation and you don't even realize how you're the girl at the beginning of the movie. So it clicks for her, and then cue in the usual motifs, and now we got our movie. And then you find out that I guess the girl, I think her name is Sam. She's the older sister to the girl at the beginning, and I forgot what's her character name. I forgot her. I forgot her name, and I forgot the girl at the beginning's name, because I remember Sam. I just can't remember her name. Tara, okay. Yeah. Tara's friends contact, which her in particular, her friend Wes, who obviously as a tribute to Wes Craven. Wes is now Judy Hicks' son. Like I said, this is 11 years later, so now everybody you get. This is like. You get when you I like that when you reintroduce to these characters, to their OG characters, or even characters from Part 4, you see how their lives turned out. We find some interesting things about Sydney and her new life now. I won't spoil it here. I won't spoil it, but if you want a spoiler review, let me know in the comments down below, and I will do a video just talking about everything I saw in the movie, spoiling and everything. But this is a non-spoiler, so you get to find out what's going on with Cindy's life, with Gail's life, and Dewey's life, and Judy Hicks. You're introduced to the characters, and we get some more killing. And what's noticeable about the first, or not, I wouldn't say the first three is I would say the first three. But I might be misleading you about this. But the main point is we heard this in the trailer when they say like they said that the victims are people who are related to the original killers, and that's what that leads it to. You get to find out who's who and who is related to the killer. Well, I won't tell you who's related to the killer. I will tell you there's someone that's related to Billy. There's or there may be two people related to Billy. There's somebody related to Stu. Um and that's part of like the dark secret is that the dark secret passage that nobody really knew about this. One of the people related to the killer, to one of the killers. Like, remember, these are people that was related to the original killer, the original killers, Stu and Billy. So one of the people is revealed to you to be that of relative to the killer. It's revealed to you. Both people are revealed to you, but is in what way they reveal to you. But yeah, you find out that one person is related to Stu, one person is related to Billy, whether it be a victim or a living person. You have to see that for yourself. But yes, you're finding out that these are secrets that are being held. But what I'm not telling you is what did this lead into, right? What major thing? Why is this secret is causing all this mayhem? And you find that out later on in the movie why. But here I'm not gonna say. But it is interesting, and it brings me to a couple of when I get to like what I didn't like, I don't like. I'll tell you what was interesting about that. But there's some jerkers and there's some tear jerkers, and there is a moment somebody do go down, and it's a character that's been loved by a lot of fans, and this will be this character's final hurrah. I won't tell you who it is, but that character do go down, and you know what everything going on, this character going down. This is what brings Cindy back to Woodsboro, and thus you have your killers, your motives, your killers revealed. Killers revealed, and his motive. His motive is kind of like it was kind of meh. This movie, and then I think at the end it's no post credit scenes, but you do got a tribute to Wes Craven, by saying Fort West. But there's there's a lot of deaths in here, a lot of character death. But moving on now, so I won't reveal anything. Moving on to what I didn't like and do like about the movie. I like the first thing I would say. I like that this movie pays tribute so heavily to the first one, but it lets you know about the rest of the history, and that I'm gonna get back to this point, but that was another thing I like. We got an answer to a character's death in this movie, and if you could completely miss it, but they sneak it in there to see if people who was like observing everything in the movie, they sneak it in there, but it answers a question about a particular character who might have been dead in one of the previous. I won't say what movie because I don't want to. Because I'll probably spoil it if I say for what movie. So I'll say this: a character who who was thought to be dead or died in one of the Scream movies, either from was Scream 1 to 4. They answer a question about that particular character's death and whether or not that character is alive or dead. And they do answer that. They do answer that. And that was like the best thing about it, because I caught it just at the right moment. I caught it and I was just like, oh, okay. All right. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Okay. I'm like, that's cool. Like it's like a blink if you miss, like, because it's not, because the person in question don't show up in the movie, but they let you know if that person within the movie's canon is either dead or alive. And it was just, it was so subtle, and they use, of all things, they use this platform that I'm bringing this video on to do it, and I think a newspaper clipping. That's my little gift to you, just so you can figure out who it is. But yeah. So that was another thing. Like, I like that it answered a question that been nagging at me since this particular Scream movie. But back to what I was talking about, I liked how I liked the focus of this movie, because it was bridging what they, as they consider, as they say in the movie, legacy characters and their history with the newer characters. So the movie tried to establish newer characters with, and their connection to the legacy characters and the legacy of the franchise itself, with Billy Loomis, Stu, and their connection. They'll find out they actually connected in a way to all of those things. And I like that, but at the same time, what I didn't like is that I didn't like the, how can I put this? I didn't like how a particular character, I'll say characters, two characters in particular, really are not in this movie as much as I thought they would be, but one of them is. Two of them is. And before I forget, while I'm on the subject of character, just a side note, we do have oddly enough 5 returning characters from the previous films. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably saying to yourself, well, we only seen like at least 3 of them. Or we only seen at least 3, maybe 4. Yeah, we only seen 4. Who is this 5th person? Who are these people? Actually, now I might have miscounted. Hold on. Actually, it's 6. I forgot. It's 6 people who return. One of them returned in a nice way, though. But yeah, it's 6 people who return. I would say number 5 and number 6 are nice additions, because you get to see what happened to these people. This one character that returns, the last time you seen her was in one of the original 3 movies. I give you that little nugget as well. One of the particular characters has not been seen since the one of the original 3 movies, because this particular character only appeared in one of the 3. Other than this one of the original 3 movies, this character appeared. But you see the legacy of one of the fallen characters from the original 3 movies. You see the legacy that they left behind. You see that character's family has grown. But back to what I was saying, I really didn't. I didn't like that only two of these characters. Now, these are 2 main characters that didn't get enough shine for my liking. Because I get it, you're trying to establish new characters, new story. But this was, I came here for, Sidney, Gale, and Dewey. And I got Dewey. but I didn't get Sydney and Gail as much as I thought they was gonna be in here. Um, Put it this way: there's a particular they show up and they show up, and then they're not seen again until a certain moment in the movie. And as that certain as they as we get into these certain moments, it's like, well, we getting close to the climax here, and it's not the climax yet, but that's where you want to bring these characters into the situation now. It's like that was kind of folks to me, but I get it. You got to establish, but yeah, that was a negative for me. I didn't like the screen time or the screen time that we got with the legacy characters, with two of the legacy characters. Um, but yeah, the story itself, I like though. I won't. It was a risk taking story, but I like it, and I like that it did something different than four when introducing the new characters, and I don't like again. I don't want to spoil it, but I just say four introduced new characters and then completely just slaughter them. Right. This one does the same thing, but there's things different. um, man, I like this the cinema, the shots, I like it was a scene where you get faked out so many times that you knew something was going to happen, but you faked out so many times you're like, oh, it's about to happen here. Okay. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, now it happened. It's like they fake you out so many times, and I love how they do it because when it starts after something happens to somebody, and then all of a sudden it's just, you thought, nope. Nope. It's like so many times it happened, and then it finally happens. It's like, God dang, you fooled me so many times. It's like I knew it was coming, but when it finally came, it was like, okay, it was a payoff. But yeah, I mean, I like the acting. I like I like the cinematograph. I like the way they was shot, the way it was done. I love that we got to return for the first time since the first movie to Stu's house. That was actually a good little twist they put in there. Even though they kind of sold you in the trailers, but the way how you get there is cool. And I think the acting was good, the shots was good. The couple of jokes was hit and miss. Two characters didn't really get closure. That was another thing I didn't like. That two characters didn't really get closure to their situation. And I was like, man, you really shouldn't have did that until at least after they got closure, but they really didn't get closure. A lot of things, this suffers from the same thing like I said about the Matrix. It had just unlike the Matrix, it was kind of okay. The Matrix had a lot of just homage, just over in your face homage to the first Matrix. This did the same, kind of like the same thing, to where it only bothered me this much, because it bothered me like this much a little bit with the Matrix, but only this much for Scream. But Scream did suffer from the same effect to a degree, just a little bit too much. Okay, we get it. Everybody loves the first movie. But I think the only other thing I didn't like was the anticlimactic ending. The ending is pretty basically. The ending is for shot the ending from the first movie, except with the new killers and they motives. When it comes to, I'm a fan of the movies, so when it comes to they motives kind of didn't line up for me. Like every killer had a good motive. And this was the movie for the first time ever. The killer's motives, like it had me, and then we got to their motives and was just like, that's the motives you went with? All these motives had something spectacular about them. even Jill's motive. But these two characters, I was just like, yeah, that was like the biggest disappointment for me. The movie was great up until, well, I wouldn't say great. It was good to great up until this point, and then I'm just like, oh man, I was not satisfied at all with that motive. But I did like their delivery. Now, even though the motive was kind of like anticlimactic, I like how they delivered it, why they delivered it, how they delivered it. But and you know why they did what to what particular character, why the killer did this to this character, why was this killer doing that, why the killer wanted the legacy characters there. Overall, though, it was a great movie. I suggest if you're a fan of the Scream movies, you'll enjoy this movie for the most part. I heard people say it was kind of woke, and I saw it. I saw how what fans were saying why it was woke, but it wasn't woke to me. Not really. It's the formula of the movie, so it wasn't woke to me. But if you're a fan of the movie, of the first four movies, then you will enjoy this movie. You will enjoy this movie as a horror movie / slasher movie fan too. Yeah, I mean, it's a great movie. Out of 10 big ups, I give Scream 2022. I wanted to give it a 10 because I love Scream. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 9 big ups. I'm gonna give it 9 big ups just because I enjoy myself up until that ending, and the ending was the only even though it was a lot if I could ignore what the movie was to me, like where it came to the legacy characters and how much time they had in this movie, but for giving me clarification on a character that we really didn't get clarified on, and like I said, you watch the first 4 movies, and you'll finally find the movie I'm talking about. But I gave it. Because you did that, I let you get to number 9, but because of because you have this property and the motive is the biggest part of this, that you got to nail that motive to make me go, dang, that's why this character did that. That's kind of okay, wow, that's kind of messed up. And you're supposed to make me go, like it didn't make me do nothing like that. I just sat there when the killer said their motive. I was just like, you killed it for me. I was with you. You took a risk and you did something cool, but then you gave me the most, and now I'm like, that thing you did earlier was kind of like, that character had to die for this lackluster motive. But in the end, yeah, 9 big ups. I was getting ready to rant, but 9 big ups. Yeah, that was like I only deducted 1 point, 1 whole point, just because of that lackluster motive. But let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the movie. If you've seen it, don't spoil the movie in the comments, because I will ban you from the comment section. I will ban you. But it just let me know in the comments down below, just without spoiling, what you thought of the movie. And if you haven't seen it yet, is you're going to go see the movie. And if you enjoyed this review, hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my reviews. And if you enjoyed this video so much you want to support the channel, then hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I drop videos, and please share the video. Do all those great things because they help me keep continuing to bring you more and more great content. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. I'm about to go play some video games and upload them to YouTube for you guys to enjoy. Peace.